Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Dad's Expensive Hobby.
What's up?
I've got some fresh Street Fighter news for you. I have been keeping my eye out, and I'm sure a lot of you have, on that new 5.2 Toys Street Fighter 6 line that they have been teasing for the last handful of months. Well, 5K Toys on their Facebook page, literally 5 minutes ago, just posted that later this month, the first set of pre-orders for the Ryu is going to be available. No other details really that they announced. They just said once everything is actually confirmed, they will make more announcements, but it's looking like here in the next couple of weeks, so keep your eye out on that. I have been watching, just kind of on the back burner, this line because it looks like it might be pretty cool. I don't own any 5.2 Toys stuff, but I have heard good things. This looks going to be a 1/12 line, so it'll basically be competing with Jada and Storm. But I want to go over the figure really quick. First off, let's go over some of the details that we know about it, and then we'll go over the aesthetic and the what I predict as far as the articulation is concerned after that. First off, obviously he's a 1/12 scale, but they've got a picture here that's depicting him as going to be 15 centimeters. Anybody that's read, figure info prior to it coming out, it's always described as being just a little bit smaller than it actually is, so he'll probably be more like 15 to 15 and a half centimeters, and I think that'll work, especially at a 1/12 scale, so he should fit with the Storm and the Jada Ryus as far as height is concerned. Now, as far as his look, he's going to look, obviously exactly like the Street Fighter 6 from Storm Collectibles, but there's going to be some minor little nuances. Overall, as far as his aesthetic, he's looking a little shiny. Not gonna lie, just from what I can see in these images on this Facebook post, like he looks good. I like the build. His shoulders are gonna be really big, and I like the look of that. The rest of the sculpt is gonna look cool, but he's just not gonna have a matte finish, I'm afraid. At least I don't predict that he does. So I'm guessing somewhere in his overall look is gonna be somewhere between Jada and Storm Arena. You know what I'm saying? Like, he might not be quite as kind of having that toy kind of look that Jada kind of falls into, more like a Marvel Legends Jada toy look, but he's not going to have that kind of hyper realism, super high end quality look that like a Storm Arena or Storm Collectible is going to have. He's going to be somewhere in the middle, and honestly, I'm okay with that. I like the skin tone that I'm seeing. Obviously, he probably will look a little different in person. It looks like the musculature is going to be really good. His faces, because it looks like we're getting 3 faces with him, look like they're going to look really, really good. There may be some shading on the pants and around the waistline, so that's cool. Perhaps when we get a picture of him without that little red toga on him, perhaps the muscles might have some shading. Who knows? Fingers crossed there. Let's go over his accessories real quick, and then we'll go over more of his, like what I think his articulation is going to go. Because this looks like he is going to have a sweet ass spread of stuff. Looks like he's going to come with 3 heads, 6 hands, at least 4 like energy effect pieces, the Shoryuken or however you say it, punch effects. He gets 2 of those and then 2 smaller punch effects. And then it looks like he's going to get like a blue fireball effect, so that's pretty darn awesome. And it looks like he's going to get 2 different stands, a stand for him and a stand for the blue fireball. So he is going to be packed to the max as far as that's concerned, but that makes me wonder what's his price going to be, because it looks like this is going to be distributed through something called Fig Light. I'm not familiar with them. If you are, tell us down in the comments if you know anything about them, what they're like, yada yada yada. Now, I don't read Chinese or whatever language this is on here, so I can basically just gotta kind of guess from what I'm looking at, but it looks like he's gonna be pretty darn posable. Just starting at the head, it looks like he's going to have a neck joint that looks like it'll probably move pretty decent, probably a ball peg in there. Most likely, hopefully anyway, a double ball peg from the neck into the head. It looks like there's going to be some semblance of a butterfly in the shoulders. So that looks like the arms are going to go up over the head, maybe come across him a little bit. It doesn't look like they cut into the sculpt of the chest too much. Definitely a bicep swivel, double jointed elbows. And just from this one picture right here, it looks like that double jointed elbow engages pretty well. It looks like he's going to have an abdominal break. Hopefully there's a double ball peg and not a hinge in there, so we should get some nice movement there. Most likely there's going to be a ball peg in the waist, so we're going to get some swivel and probably some tilt there. Now down in the hips, I can't see much there to know exactly what kind of range we should expect out of that. But I mean, that's not necessarily a bad thing. He'll probably have pretty decent, at worst, pretty decent articulation from the waist down. Looks like there's going to be a thigh swivel in there, a double jointed knee. From what I can see of the knee, I'm not that big of a fan of the look of it. I'm not going to freak out or lose my mind, but I've seen better knees just like we all have. Whether or not he'll have like some sort of like ankle swivel or shin break down there at the bottom of the cuff of the pants, we won't know until we get him in hand. The ankle looks like it's going to be a big old hinge down there, and I honestly don't have a problem with it. It'll throw off the aesthetic a little bit. It'll give you kind of fat ankles, but that's not that big of a deal. It looks like, at least in this one picture right here, it does look like they work, at least going back. Going up, we don't know yet, and we don't know anything about the ankle rocker just yet. I can't tell. I'm about half blind. I'm an old man. Whether or not he's going to have a toe break. Actually, yeah, it looks like he's going to have a toe break. So that's cool in a lot of ways. And his toe, he doesn't have a goofy ass looking toe like the Storm Collectibles Street Fighter 6 Ryu does. If you haven't seen my video on that where I make fun of it, check that out. But overall, I think this is going to be a really good looking figure. It looks like we're going to get maybe a couple of different looks for his headband, or the headband is just posable on the back of his head. I don't know yet, but overall this figure looks pretty cool. Tell me down in the comments if this is something that you're interested in, if you had your eye on 5.2 toys as far as this new Street Fighter 6 line. But pretty much that's all I've got of it, because that's really all we could kind of see. But overall, it looks like this is going to be a solid figure. Now, depending on the price, is this something you're going to pick up? Tell us all down in the comments. With all that said, this has been Dad with Dad's Expensive Hobby, and I'll talk to you all in the next video.